Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.
No breaks, no fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Hello and welcome to a special bonus winter edition of No Breaks, No Fear. And this really is to bring you some more reaction to that major decision regarding the plan to redevelop Coventry's Brandon Stadium, which has now been dismissed by a planning inspector. Brandon is one of British Speedway's most significant venues. It's hosted top national and international events. It's been a home for Grand Prix, in fact, and of course the Coventry Bees at the top level of the sport for 60 years. It was closed in the winter of 2016 and 17 as developers pursued plans for housing on the site, subsequently also a 3G football pitch, which was rejected last winter by a local planning committee. That decision's now been upheld following a public inquiry in which representatives for Rugby Borough Council and the Save Coventry Speedway and Stox campaign group produced evidence and key witnesses in support of the stadium. The appeal dismissed on the grounds that the stadium, with its established use, is not surplus to requirements and the benefits of the alternative provision don't outweigh the loss of the stadium, therefore putting the proposals in conflict with various sections of national and local legislation. The man who has certainly been the figurehead of this campaign, the chair of the campaign group, is Jeff Davies, who has long been associated with Speedway as a photographer, also a long-time designer of the front cover of the Speedway Star, in fact, but of course firmly involved in keeping sports, motorsports, Speedway and stock car racing alive at Brandon Stadium, which is now definitely a step closer. Now, a couple of days ago, just a few hundred yards really from Brandon Stadium, at the Brandon Club, the Nuneaton Speedway Supporters Club, helped host the British Speedway Youth Celebration of Speedway, which is an event where a lot of the youngsters, the youth champions of the youth series, but also under-19 champion and under-21 champion in Dan Thompson and Conor Bailey in this case, all gathered as well. And of course, Jeff was at the event, and he was able to share some words with us and explain now what this decision means and what the next steps might be. Here's Jeff Davies.
The news was obviously incredible. We've been fighting it for 9 years now, and 7 years since the stadium closed. We've gone through the local plan process, 2 planning applications, a court case against the developers, and the appeal by the developers, and we've been waiting for the last 2 months for the inspector to make her decision following the public inquiry, and we got her decision yesterday about 10:15, and it was obviously the decision we'd all been hoping for.
What does this mean now? Because obviously this doesn't mean Speedway is going to start straight away. There's a long way to go. Brandon Estate still own the land, but they can't build on it, which is a crucial thing. So just explain what this decision means and the process now, the next step along for getting Speedway back.
Well, first of all, if the decision had gone against us and the inspector had upheld their the appeal, then Brandon would have been lost. And bulldozers may well have been on the site next week. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they have really exhausted the process now, and in theory they could go to the High Court to challenge the decision, but the only way they can do that is if the decision is based on legality. And from reading the inspector's report, we don't think there's any possibility of that being pursued. So they're now, the owners are left with a piece of land, 26 acres, with a stadium sitting on it. The stadium is in an awful state of repair, there's no doubt about that. Will cost a lot of money to reinstate. But there is no prospect of them building houses on the site. And so what do they do as property developers? What will they do with the site? Now, we obviously hope that they will now concede and sell the stadium for whatever they can get for it.
And really, obviously, the process, the stadium, as you mentioned, is in not a great state at this moment in time. One of the plans that was sort of put forward, or one of the options, was to maybe run it was quoted as the jumpers for goalposts option, wasn't it? So there is a possibility that Speedway could come back there without the full facilities that people would traditionally know, but the track in itself remains sort of workable.
Yes, we have visited the site officially twice, leading up to the inquiry and during the inquiry, in fact. So I visited the site with the inspector on the first day of the inquiry, and there's no doubt it's in a shocking state. The main problem with it is the grandstand. The grandstand has been the subject of a number of serious fires, and we don't know, because we were denied permission to carry out any surveys, we don't know whether the grandstand is structurally sound. If we get the stadium back, obviously one of the first things we would do is get a structural survey to see whether the grandstand was still sound. And if it wasn't, then it would have to be demolished. The other possibility is that parts of the grandstand would have to be demolished. So originally the grandstand was built in about 1968, but it was built in stages, so it was built in a number of phases, and the two ends of the grandstand are the most seriously damaged with fires. It could be that a structural survey might say that we could demolish each end of the grandstand and retain the central part of the grandstand. We still need extensive work, so we don't know the condition of the grandstand. The terracing in places would need quite a bit of work. There's lots of trees and things growing through the terracing. The jumpers for goalpost scenario would be that the stadium initially opens with the back straight terracing, which is in pretty good condition. It's under cover. Those that know the stadium will know that there's a covered area on the back straight, and it would certainly hold comfortably 3,000 people. But so that would be perhaps an opportunity to utilise the stadium in the initial stages, and then progressively repair the terracing around the bends and eventually deal with the grandstand.
And just finally, without you and people like Dave Rowe and everyone else who's been involved in this, you say bulldozer houses would be on it by now comfortably, but just a word for all the people who have helped you along the way to get to this point.
Yeah, and that is very important. I know that a lot of the credit is given to me, and that's simply because I was the figurehead, the chairman of the group. I was a single point of contact for the council and for the developers, etc. But we should not underestimate the input from the other people on the committee. There are 9 of us. You've mentioned one, David Rowe, David Carter, who himself is a planning expert, former planning inspector himself, has been incredible. And all of the committee members have played a vital part at some time or other and been very supportive. In addition to that, we'd really like to thank the hundreds of people that donated money for us to hire a KC, King's Counsel barrister, to represent us at the hearing. And we raised £22,000 in 7 days. which contributed towards the cost of the KC. And then, of course, there's the people who acted as witnesses at the trial, Phil Morris, Matt Ford, Chris Van Straten. I'm sure I'm going to miss names out, which and from the stock car ward as well, Steve Rees. They all made very valuable contributions. Russell Bott, who's chaired this event this evening, or hosted the event, I should say, also spoke at the inquiry. So lots of people made very, very valuable contributions and were very credible witnesses. So those are the people that the Speedway fraternity will know. In addition, there were people like Warren Hunter. Warren Hunter is a stock car man. He runs a business. He's the biggest carrot grower in this country. He runs a £50 million business, and he's made an offer to buy the stadium. He was a witness at the inquiry. John Worley, people won't know, but he's the managing director of Nationwide Windows. Again, a business with a £50 million turnover, very supportive and prepared to put money into the reinstatement of the stadium. So all of these people have played a vital part, and we can't thank enough all the Speedway and stock car fraternity who've supported us and really spurred us on, backed us for the last 7 or 8 years and encouraged us to continue pursuing the case.
Well, on behalf of everyone, thanks very much, Jeff, and let's hope it's a positive next step now.
One final thing, Ian. Tonight we've been at the Nuneaton Speedway Supporters Club in the Brandon Club. It's been a celebration speedway and presentation evening for the youth riders, the young riders, and nothing would give me greater pleasure than in a year or two's time to see those young lads racing around Brandon. Absolutely. And there was some good talent there. I think we had 6 riders at the front where I said actually that'd be a good basis of a team. Yeah, they're incredible kids really. They're young lads, and one girl amongst them, Chloe. And when you listen to them being interviewed, when they're so confident, when you listen to their experience, they've travelled the world, and they're 9, 10 years old, or in some cases a bit older, 19 and 20, but they've travelled the world, and Speedway has enabled them to do that, and it's great to see.
Fantastic, Jeff. Thanks a lot, and we'll look forward to the next steps, and hopefully they're positive.
Thank you, Ian.
Well, as Jeff mentioned there, we were in the company of the next generation of Speedway, really, at the Great Britain Youth Celebration of Speedway event, which is an annual event that takes place, really formally recognising the various champions from the youth ranks, the 125 support class, the 125 champion, 250cc, 500cc, and then, of course, through the under-19 and under-21s. And we also had the draw for the competition in 2024 as well, announcing the seeded riders for the under-21 final, the draw for the qualifier for that, for those riders that weren't seeded, and also details of the youth championships as well. And the man who's overseeing the Great Britain Youth Programme is Neil Vatcher. Neil, of course, also coordinator for the SCB as well. And there will be 1 or 2 changes to the rules. So we talked about that in a little while. But first of all, Neil just reflecting on the youth programme heading into 2024. Neil Vatcher, it's been a special night tonight. Celebration of Speedway, celebrating those young stars of various ages now coming through, right from young Rocco Webb, who's the support category winner, through to Connor Bailey, the under-21 champion, and a great night tonight, and a rewarding one for you as well to see their progress.
Yeah, it definitely was. I've been sort of banging the drum for this generation of riders for many years, and I genuinely think now that we do have some real stars of the future. We were basically talking tonight, and I feel that British Speedway is definitely on the up, and along the way is these riders that were in attendance tonight, and I can genuinely see over the next couple of years that we're going to be have a big shout on the not only the national scene but the international scene as well. So plenty to look forward to.
And also tonight, the draw has been completed for the Under-21 qualifier, which is happening in Plymouth on the 30th of April, and also details of the Youth Championships as well. Yeah,
this year our 6 riders have been seeded. The top 6 riders from the 2023 Championship averages, which was Leon Flint, Dan Thompson, Joe Thompson, Ace Piper, Jake Mulford and Nathan Ablett. They've all been seeded direct to the final, wherever that will be. Hopefully we'll find out in the next couple of days. And then, as you quite rightly say, the qualifier is going to take place at Plymouth in April. And in fairness, a pretty decent lineup, to be honest. Even though 10 riders will qualify for the final, it's going to be a fascinating meeting. All obviously very young British riders, trying to qualify for a British final, which is a highlight of their season. And we're in January now, but it's a date in my diary that I'm already looking forward to.
And the Youth Championships as well, which is going over a number of rounds, 9 in total, for the various categories, 125s, 250s and 500s.
Yeah, again, fantastic support from the British Speedway promoters. We currently have 15 tracks running in the 23 season, of which 9 of them have put their names in the hat to hold a British Youth round. Don't believe that we've ever held 9 before, or as many as 9. Really chuffed with that. And again, it gives all credit to the riders and the parents that put in the effort, and the clubs have invited us, for the 24 season. And again, dates and venues that all of us will be looking forward to.
And just with your SCB hat on, there are 1 or 2 tweaks to how things are going to run in the Speedway season this year that people will notice. Maybe they won't notice, but riders will. Automated tape system is coming in. There's going to be countdown clocks, and just talk about the things that are going to be different this year. Yeah,
to be honest, there's actually not too many regulation changes this year, although you've just touched on a couple there that, the starting procedure for the referees will be random starts. The referee's going to put the green light on, and then it's up to effectively like a box that will randomly bring the tapes up. So that's been sort of taken out of the hands of the referee, but it perhaps varies it up a bit. The 2-minute countdown, previously riders had to be on track, whereas now it's the same as the Grand Prix. At the conclusion of the 2 minutes, the riders are going to have to be ready to race. So that's perhaps something that will cause a bit of interest. Every club's got to have a countdown clock, so you'll be able to see the time ticking down, which will perhaps put a bit of pressure on riders if they're heading towards the start with just a few seconds to go. But other than that, there isn't actually too many changes, so we sort of go with it. And the season's starting early this year, as we all know. It's only, I think it's 7 weeks' time now, so it'll soon be upon us, and as I said before, we're all looking forward to it.
You could say the clock is ticking for the brand new British Speedway season. We'll be back with a full episode of No Brakes, No Fear as we approach the start of the season, and that'll get underway as we get in towards March. Of course, there's plenty going on. All the fixtures are now available on the British Speedway website, so you can check out what's going to be happening where, as far as we know for this moment. But all of the leagues is just, I think, the National League still to be fully confirmed, but all the fixtures as we have them, a full programme available online at britishspeedway.co.uk. We'll see you for a full episode again very soon. And in the meantime, don't forget to check out a couple of other podcasts, particularly the Humans of Speedway podcast, which has got some big guests on it. Hans Nielsen, a recent guest. Also coming soon, Peter Adams is going to be on that as well. So do check that out at your leisure. We've also got Charles Wright and Kyle Howarth in the coming weeks too. So check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Enjoy the rest of the winter months and the Speedway season. Back with you before you know it. Take care.
No Brakes, No Fear. The official British Speedway podcast.
Sports Social. official podcast network.
Tired of ads barging into your favorite news podcasts? Good news. Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free news podcasts to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads. Enjoy thousands of Acast shows ad-free for Prime subscribers. Some shows may have ads.